evening and happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen. You are here watching Film Snobbery Live with your host, me, the film snob, Nic Baisley. I'm also joined by my co-host, Jerry Cavallaro. Jerry, say hi to the good folks.
Hi, everyone. Happy Festivus.
Yes, it is. Actually, it is officially Festivus, isn't it?
Yep.
There we go. So,
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to do anything at work anymore. We used to have a little Festivus sign that I made, and this year they cracked down. We're not allowed to celebrate any holidays at the library.
Which is,
so
I find it funny that they're actually acknowledging Festivus as a real holiday, according to them. But anyways, so...
I know, every year, the last couple of years, but not anymore.
Okay.
Let's get on with the show, though. Let's not depress people. Hey.
I wanted you to shut up 5 minutes ago, before the show even started. No, so I want to welcome Jerry, obviously, to the show. I want to welcome everyone out there to the show. I know that kind of everyone's really busy right now getting ready for the holidays, unless you've already kind of done the whole Hanukkah thing, in which case, welcome, and this is something fun to do. Speaking of things that are fun to do, I want to remind everyone that we've got some great stuff coming up in January. Not only are we going to be hosting our first independent film screening series, the first of a monthly screening series, over at the Palace Theater in Danbury, Connecticut. Film Snobbery Live presents A Day at the Palace, because we feel filmmakers should be treated like royalty. So I want to remind everyone, January 30th, Sunday, last Sunday of every month, come on down to the Palace Theater, or come up to the Palace Theater, depending on where you are, I guess. Come watch some great movies. This month we're going to be featuring Ink by Jamin Winans. We're going to be featuring What's Up Lovely by Gary King. We're also going to be, and Gary King will be in attendance. Also, two shorts, Misdirection by Doran Kipper. Doran will be here as well. And he'll be doing a little act, which is awesome. And 350 by Maurice Chevet, and our good friends, if you know her on Twitter and Facebook, I guess, Melinda Augustina, who stars in it. So say hi to her if you see her on Twitter. And so we've got a great show. This is our last show for the year. We're going to skip out on next week's show. We've got a lot of preparation to do for the new year, a lot of new things that are coming, so a lot of stuff I can't talk about. The only thing I really can talk about is the screening series at the moment. I want to sit there. I want to sit here. Over here now, where I was over there. I'm over here now. I want to say thank you to everyone for a full year of Film Snobbery, and I want to say thank you and happy holidays from everyone here at the show to all of you out there. I see a great amount of people in the chat room tonight. I'm very happy to see everyone here. Really just very, very excited. We've got a great show for you today. We have our guest. She is a many-hatted person. Her name is Amanda Lin Costa. We're going to be talking with her in a couple of minutes. We also have our Indiegogo Project of the Week that we'll be talking about. And then we're going to wrap up the show a little bit more old-school style, and we're just going to kind of have a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a tete-a-tete wrap-up end-of-the-year type of thing. And if you guys have anything you guys want to kind of talk about, fit it into the hour that we have here, feel free to call us in after the interview at 508-499-3669 or Skype us at FilmSnobbery. That being said, we need to dive right on in because we have an awesome guest. I spoke with her for like a couple of hours earlier today already. Really excited. You guys know her online on Twitter as The Lone Olive, twitter.com/TheLoneOlive. We know her over here as Amanda Lin Costa, director, producer, writer, a blogger. She's all over the place. So I want to welcome her to the show now. We're going to talk about some of her projects. So everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Lin Costa.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Jerry. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, too. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to chat with you guys tonight.
I'm very, very excited. I feel like we're breaking you in for better media. So let's talk a little bit about first let's talk about kind of how you got a little bit of your history, how you got into the business, not only the film industry as a whole, but then kind of, you kind of move in and out of independent film. So how does that, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you do it.
Sure. Well, I went to Emerson Film School. way many years ago, 20 years ago, and I came out and let's see, my first film I worked as a production coordinator. Actually, it was a Sandra Bullock film before she even had a TV show, and became good friends with all the people on that. It was sort of a small indie production film. And now, 20 years later, I actually was just out pitching at a couple studios with somebody that I remain friends with. And the lesson, keep connected with all the people in your life. And then, I don't know, I kind of fell into styling, really just because somebody asked me to be a production coordinator for the New Jersey State Opera. And somehow I just kept getting work, and I was a single mom, and I somehow spent 20 years doing that, being in all different art departments, worked on Broadway, worked on a lot of features, commercials, and then my daughter grew up, and I kind of wanted to get back into doing my own thing, so I think I had a strong foundation from having worked in the industry at, like, a professional IATSE crew level, kind of high expectations. So I tried to go into everything of doing it professionally, if that makes any sense. Even my own projects, I tried to really involve a lot of people that I knew and worked with in the industry. And, I got into doing documentaries and some reality projects that are in shopping agreements right now in a couple countries, and writing my own screenplays. I got book rights for something and worked on that. And I don't know, I just decided this year I wanted to direct. I hadn't done it. And so that's very much stepping into the indie world. When you decide you want to do your own project, it's a whole different thing when no one's writing a paycheck. So it's a very unique experience, I think.
Well, and let's talk.
You get frustrated without the budget, I guess.
Let's talk a little bit about that experience. You mentioned that you got some book rights and that you're doing an adaptation. What is for those of you out there who don't know, this entire month we've been focusing on screenwriters. It's kind of a screenwriters month here, and we've one of the things we hit upon a little bit on previous shows, but we don't have anyone with actual experience on it, is adaptations. And Amanda, what was your experience with doing that? I mean, some people would be happy just to pick up something out of the public domain and remake it. I have friends that are taking like fairy tales and stuff like that, and they're kind of remaking them and stuff like that, and classic kind of grim fairy tales and stuff like that. You're taking something that you got the rights for, and what's the process for something like that?
Well, my process was that I read a book and I really liked it, and I contacted the book author myself and proposed book rights after doing a little research on it, and then we both spent about 8 months in a 20-page 7 contract with publishers and many lawyers. But I will say, depending on the project you get, if you want to be able to take it to a studio, there's a lot of things people don't think of, like the merchandising rights and all other auxiliary rights that allow people to actually make money. So I think if you're doing something independent and small, a very good suggestion is to get something in public domain. That's what I actually did with the short film for Letters. But Annie Londonderry was a recent book. It's I think going into its 3rd or 4th or 5th country publication right now. It's a couple years old, so it was only out for about a year. There's actually a documentary being made out about it. So that was the only rights I didn't obtain, was the documentary rights. I have radio and stage and merch and all that stuff.
And do you feel that you're working on your adaptation of it, and then you mentioned that there's a documentary being made as well? Do you feel that there's any competition in that way? And in as much as, like, there are other movies that kind of touch upon same subjects like that too, where they'll take an actual adaptation and you'll see a documentary on it or something like that later. I mean, do you feel as a filmmaker that that's kind of encroaching a little bit on your territory?
Well, since I do docs, it was a little strange, but I actually thought, since it wasn't like a big best-selling book, and it was actually a history book, not a novel, which is also, I can talk about, is a very different adaptation process than a novel. I actually was just excited that her story would maybe get more publicity, because the woman that had the rights to the documentary did a lot of documentaries for some major museums, and so she was somewhat established. She's still working on it. I actually finished the script while she was, still doing her thing, but it's a much bigger process doing a documentary. So I know what you're saying, but it was already a legal contract that he signed, and I think that that's a really important thing for people to realize is how much legal, even if you can make a really great deal, which I encourage everyone to, sort of follow that dream thing. Like if you love a book and you can't find that somebody already has the rights, reach out to the publisher. Most books, before they're even published, if they seem like they're from a best-selling author or there's already a push, their rights have actually already been sold before they hit the bookshelf.
Oh, wow.
So it's not really a risk to reach out. Publishers will very clearly either not get back to you or they'll tell you that the rights are already taken. It's not always an extraordinarily exorbitant thing. Many times they'll give you the first year for free or for a low price. But I would suggest getting a good lawyer so that, you're protected. You don't want whoever's work you're adapting to be able to have a say in how you adapt it. I think that's an important thing as a creative person. You want your rights protected. If you're going to put a year into someone's project, you want it to become your project,
Sure.
not for them to all of a sudden say, yeah, I don't like the way you wrote that, or which is another problem. Sometimes people want to have in the contract that they can influence what deals you take. So if you're in discussions with a certain production company, maybe they want you to hold out for more, or they, that's the things that protect you as a creative person, that you have full rights to it, even though it's based on somebody else's idea.
Now that being said, you're doing an adaptation, you're kind of putting your stamp on it, but I guess one of the questions that the audience might have is, what is it actually about?
Annie Londonderry? Oh, Annie Londonderry was the first woman to go around the world on a bicycle in 1894. And she was a young Jewish woman who lived in Boston. She had 3 kids, and she left them and her husband, and she was kind of nutty and just took off. It was right after the, around the world in 80 days. There was this huge phenomenon of people trying to, set records like that. Like I walked around the world and, all sorts of crazy kind of stuff like that for bets and money. So she was actually considered the largest sports star at the time, but for some strange reason her story just got kind of lost, and many, many years later, I guess maybe now, maybe 10 years ago when he first started writing, her great-great-nephew heard in the family, he was already a journalist, heard in the family, oh, didn't you know that your relative was a very famous bicyclist? And so he started doing research and he wrote a book about it.
Cool. Now,
it's one of those strange tales.
did this particular story appeal to you more because of the story itself, or because it's kind of a woman, you're a woman in film, and this is about the subject of the book is a woman, or I mean, what drew you to the subject matter?
That's an interesting question, because everything I wrote before, I would say, was very indie, edgy, violent, and here I am doing a very G adaptation. But the book is a history book, so it's just a collection of pretty much clippings and his interpretation of a lot of stuff. And she wore bloomers. People throw food at her, and she was like kind of a big liar about a lot of things, always exaggerating tales. And so I was actually fascinated by a woman who would leave her kids or go around the world for 18 months. At that time, when women had no rights, they couldn't vote. They certainly weren't supposed to wear pants. She was really a unique character to me, so I think I would have been fascinated by her, whether she was a man or a woman, because she was very, very complex, which I always think is sort of the key to having a character. But I chose to adapt it in a little bit more of a G version, because I think that what appeals market-wise, which is always a smart thing to think when you're doing any kind of project that would maybe involve studios, because it's a period piece, is that, she had that kind of real sense of adventure that, like Amelia Earhart or somebody would. So I tried to keep it very family-oriented, that, the kind of movie you could take your tween daughter to, and it has complex layers about her in it, but the basic story is a big adventure of a young girl who travels around the world and, goes through different countries and, meets Indians and gets held up and breaks her leg and bicycles with one foot.
It sounds like you're doing like the modern day Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah, it's been very Anna Green Gables, and it's a kind of a fun adventure, which was very different for me because, like I said, I really write R. All my films that were incest were very edgy. That's the kind of stuff I usually like. But
so,
it kind of spoke to me. So.
Now, you said that you had come from the world a little bit of documentary as well. Now, when you're doing documentary, and you and I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier before the show, that when you do documentary, you're kind of just following a subject, and you're kind of just trying to capture a moment or capture, the essence of that subject and what they're doing, and trying to then create a story out of it. You hope that you get a story from it. You're basically now taking a story and you're adapting it. And in the adaptation process, did you have a problem adapting yourself from, being kind of a third-party fly-in-the-wall kind of observer of human nature and experience and then like a reporter almost, then being a director of something that is more narrative? Was there a big mind shift for you doing that?
I think that when you adapt things, the biggest obstacle to overcome is to realize that the end result needs to stand on its own. So while you might think you're being very faithful to what really happened, especially with the true life biop, that doesn't always mean it's going to make the best story. So it's an interesting conflict, and I think it's the same probably if you're doing a novel. We all complain when we have a favorite book and it's adapted, and we like go, oh, they left out my favorite part, or that's not what really happened, that person didn't really know that person. But the end product has to stand as a story on its own, so it takes a little distance, almost like editing your own film, which is what I'm going through right now. But it's really, I found anyway, one of the hardest things to remember, that you're trying to stay as true as possible to a true story, and yet improve upon it in its own medium. A film is different than a book. It needs a different sense of drama. It needs a different sense of pacing. It needs cut out a lot of stuff, and it's a big weeding process to decide, what will capture the essence and yet stand on its own if no one ever reads that book or ever heard of Annie Londonderry before. I wouldn't want someone to pick up the script and didn't know the story and not enjoy it.
Okay. And so, you've already shot the film. Do we have any sort of a release date for this?
Well, Annie Londonderry, I just finished the script, and I've been talking to some companies. That's very much a big project. It's a period piece. I don't know if I will be involved in producing that or just the script, but I did just finish Her Letters, which is the adaptation I did that I chose to do a public domain short story by Kate Chopin.
And I just want to note for the audience real quick, we actually do have some pictures above one of my shoulders of different stills from Her Letters, so you guys can take a look at that, and it actually looks really good. I mean, the cinematography looks good anyway.
That's Iman Hassan and his 5D. He's a master. Shoot docs on the 5D, which if anybody's ever worked with that type of camera, it's very difficult to focus. So if you can shoot a doc and make it look good, then you can shoot a narrative. I suggest everybody learn on docs because it's really a boot camp for filmmaking.
It's funny, actually, as far as documentaries are concerned, I go to a lot of different industry events and stuff, and I always find that there are tons of documentary filmmakers on that. Do you feel the same way, that like there's just seems to be just an inundation of documentary filmmakers out there, and then they kind of either graduate to narrative, or they, I don't see, like I went to I think it was when I was at the Conversation at Columbia University earlier this year, like 90% of the room was documentary filmmakers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't go to as many events as I would like. I think the last doc event that was something you attended, besides like a screening where, the directors or producers are speaking afterwards, which I think that one was for Strepo with Sebastian Younger, and a bunch of journalists were there. But I went to, the UN has an event that's very inexpensive every year, and they show, world documentaries that have a lot of filmmakers that attend them, I think, looking for lessons on I would say with distribution with docs, it's hard. I mean, not that they're not hard with narratives, but they have a tendency to be very specific, which is great. But not everybody wants to see a film about, shortages of water in Africa or, whatever the topic is. So the thing with a doc, I think, is always the challenge of to find a specific story and make it universal enough that it will appeal to people outside of the niche market.
Right.
That I think is the biggest doc challenge, and I actually think if you're saying there's so many doc filmmakers attending these events, I think that distribution is always a very big topic with them.
I think distribution's a very big topic with any independent filmmaker. I mean, because it's not something that is guaranteed. It's not something that cracked. You're getting tons of distribution right now. Specifically, is getting a lot of press because of the various film festivals that are going on. Specifically, things like Sundance and South by Southwest, and some of the larger ones that are going on. Distribution seems to be on like everyone's mind. Not that it isn't normally, but I've just been seeing a lot more very specific articles that also reference the film festivals.
Yeah, it's a complicated issue and it's changing a lot. But I think with documentary filmmakers, I'm not saying we're all do-gooders, but we have this sort of imperative that's maybe different than entertaining an audience and just getting eyes on. We often want to initiate a change with our documentary, so it becomes like a different level of distribution, if that makes any sense. Like
right.
I think when you make a film, you just want people to be an audience and to enjoy it and watch it, but there's some level of impact that's implied when you are a documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
That you're trying to influence people. That's what I think sometimes is a lot of the seminars people attend is to really try to figure out how to do that.
And now I was mentioning the whole film festival thing in a way because I wanted to kind of somewhat segue into screenwriting contests a little bit as well. Which is screenwriting contests are like the film festivals for screenwriters. You see a lot of those out there. At the beginning of the month, we had on Mark Andrushko's, the head of Scriptapalooza. Now, you and I were talking a little bit before the show, and not as a, and nothing against anyone or any company in one thing in particular, but we were talking about how you weren't, as a screenwriter, you weren't particularly crazy about screenwriting competitions. Now, why is that, and do you find that maybe there's a better alternative for screenwriters?
My opinion about screenwriting contest is that if you're starting out and you're in a bubble, like you're in somewhere where you don't have a community like New York or Los Angeles, and you're not really sure how you're stacking up and you don't have that kind of feedback, I think it's a great thing to send out to a few contests and find out how you place. Mm-hmm. Because I've also read for screen contests, and there's a big diversity of scripts that come out there. So I think it's a barometer for people at the beginning in the sense that if you're not in the quarters, if you're not placing in the finals, then somewhere you're not hitting a mark either in a unique voice that makes people like really have to read and turn the page, because in the end with a script, it's do you want to turn the page? It's a story. It doesn't matter any of the technical stuff unless you write so technically wrong that you're making people want to poke their eyes out. It's about turning the page when you have to read script upon script when you're reading for a contest. So make it a page turner. So I was just going to say, I think for that it's really good, but I think the idea that people keep their fame and fortune and get their name out there is less of a chance. I know managers who've picked up screenwriters who've won Austin, Nichols, rep some pretty big festival winner screenwriters. But they're not getting any more work than your odds are of honing your script, I think, and making queries to production companies that are appropriate, like looking for the material you like. So
okay.
Now, they're expensive. That's my opinion. I think that they cost a lot of money, and at a certain point, I don't know if that money is worthwhile being spent.
Fair enough. Now, kind of sticking along the vein of screenwriting, you'd mentioned that you've judged a few of those contests. You've obviously read a lot of scripts. What is the biggest mistake that you see that's most prevalent in a lot of the scripts that you read? Like, I mean, is it format? Is it grammar and punctuation, spelling, so that, or is it actual story structure, plot, character development? I mean, what do you see as being like the big thing that not everyone, but a larger portion of people seem to be doing wrong than others?
Well, again, I would say when you're reading a lot of scripts, I don't want to be inciting at page 10, but I would say if I don't have an idea who I'm following in the script, what the story is, you're going to lose me because I don't want to have to work that hard. I mean, that's a really big problem. I don't want at page 30 all of a sudden now the story begins.
Gotcha.
It makes me feel cheated as a reader that I've somehow wasted 30 pages. And I think that it's very easy when you're a talented writer to forget sometimes that you don't need to be verbose as a screenwriter. You just need to tell a story that makes me want to know what happens next because I either care about the character or I'm like, oh my God, how are they going to get out of that dilemma? And scarceness and space on a page are some things that when you are reading a lot of scripts in one day make a big difference. It's a small technical thing, but jammed up huge paragraphs will only make a reader roll their eyes to go, oh my God, because it feels like you're going to read 300 pages instead of 100. So be nice to your readers and space your script out and take out a lot of those adjectives and descriptions and just make us go, what happens next? That to me is the biggest problem, is that I'm getting 20, 30 pages in and I'm like, I really don't know what's going on. And I don't care, because no one's given me a character I can latch onto and no one's given me a plot that I can be interested in what the next stage is.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
I think I mentioned too, a pet peeve is when people put the character names too similar because, again, people who read for contests, and I'm sure readers who are reading at different production companies are not just reading one script a week. They're reading a lot of them in a row. And so if you name your protagonist and your antagonist the same name, but it's not because secretly they're going to be the same person with a dual identity, you're going to make everyone insane because no one wants to have to keep stopping and going, wait, who is this again? Which one is this again? Because you lose the story that way. So that's my opinion, is to get to where the story's going very quickly so we can go on a journey with you when we're reading.
Well, I want to thank you for including us on your journey, making us a stop on your promotional journey for Her Letters and Annie Londonderry and all that, and you had sent me some clips and stuff. We're not going to show them here, but you sent me some clips earlier. I saw them. I was really very intrigued by. I actually really liked. You said it was a low resolution kind of clip. That one with the band you sent me. I love that.
Going the Distance, which is Barrymore film that was
Yeah.
out. So they're on the list to be nominated for an Oscar. So we're of course rooting for them.
Heck yeah.
Nice to us since they're making a film with them. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I really enjoyed everything that you sent me, and I want to thank you for taking the time tonight to chat with us, and obviously the lots of time you spent earlier, you and I chatting.
It's my pleasure, Nick.
Awesome. Well, I want to just remind everyone here in the audience, if there are any questions, ask them now. But also, I want to remind everyone they can find Amanda Lin Costa over on Twitter, twitter.com/theloneolive. And be aware, theloneolive.com will be launching sometime in the future, early next year. So bear in mind, get ready, and then. But until then, you can actually check some of the blogging and some of the information about Her Letters at www.herletters.com, as well as facebook.com/herletters, and also you can check out Annie Londonderry on Facebook as well, and make sure you like both of those. Obviously, check out Amanda's information and posts and not posts but writing on the Huffington Post. And there you go. So we'll make sure that Did I miss anything, Amanda?
Both my docs are also on Facebook. The Art of Memories, which is on the 9/11 steel from Ground Zero, being distributed around the country right now for memorials. So I'm working on that. I've been shooting it for about almost 6 months now. And then Following the Angels is also on Facebook and has a website up actually, which is on the Tiffany stained glass windows that are touring in museums right now. So.
Following the Angels, right? I'm going to make sure. So that I'm going to write it down so I can make sure that I both follow and like those pages when I'm done with the show tonight, and I recommend everyone else do so. And while everyone else is out there actually liking pages or checking into things or whatever, I also want to remind everyone to please check into Miso if you haven't yet, and check into FilmSnobbery Live on Miso. You can either do it from your iPhone or your Android phone. You can also go to www.gomiso.com, check into FilmSnobbery Live. Let them know you're watching, because that would be awesome.
Your shameless plug. What about that awesome app that's available on both iPhone and Android now?
The awesome app that we have that's for both iPhone and Android, Ryan? That one.
That's an amazing application.
It is an amazing application, yes, for only $1.99.
Bargain.
What a bargain.
Let's stop this commercial now and talk to the nice lady.
Hello, nice lady. Amanda, I want to thank you again for coming on. I want to thank you for helping us close out the year here, and also closing out Screenwriters Month, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you kind of come up with next, because everyone that stopped by tonight and is on Twitter has been retweeting us, and all that has had nothing but nice things to say, and so that makes me very interested in following what you're doing and keeping tabs on you.
Oh, thanks so much. And anybody who's listening, they're always welcome to find me and ask me questions on the Lone Olive. I'm very generous with my time when able to do so. No problem.
And I have your number now, so you're
That's
done.
right.
You're done. Forget about it. Well, thank you very much, and you have yourself a great night, a great holiday, and go and enjoy your time with your daughter who's home from college, and all that fun stuff.
You too, and bye to Ryan and Jerry, right?
Ryan and Jerry, yes.
Yay, someone actually acknowledged me.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Well,
Jerry.
Good, it's Jerry. Good.
Yeah.
Good night, Amanda.
Good night. Hey, it's nice for the guests to address me for once. Thank you.
I addressed you at the beginning.
You're welcome.
She's still here. I think she likes us. No.
We shouldn't let her go. We might have more time.
Oh, we always have more time, but no, she's a very busy lady. Obviously, she's got all these projects going on, and now she's got to go to Twitter, and she's got to tell everyone what a good time she had.
I think everybody could hear that, Nick. No problem.
Excellent. And Lucas McNally says, I'll vouch for Amanda's niceness online. And let's see. Yes. I'm sure other people have said things too. I just have to scroll through. But thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, Amanda. That was Amanda Lin Costa, everyone. And again, follow her on Twitter, twitter.com/theloneolive. We want to now, I'm going to take a quick break. I actually am going to do a quick plug for our good friends over at Final Draft. And when we come back from that, we're going to talk about our Indiegogo project of the week, My Sucky Teen Romance. And we'll see you in a minute. Final Draft version 8 is the industry standard for screenwriting software. With ease of use and time-saving features like Final Draft's Scene View, Index Cards, and Scene Properties Inspector, you can see why Final Draft users include Academy Award winners like Oliver Stone, Tom Hanks, J.J. Abrams, and James Cameron. Final Draft is now even more extensible with its new XML-based file format that can be used to import your script into many other programs. Check out Final Draft 8 now for free over at www.finaldraft.com. We're back! How about them apples? Yeah, so we're back. Again, I highly encourage everyone to check out our previous guest that was just on, Amanda Lin Costa. Check her out on Twitter. Check her out on Facebook. Fun stuff. She's a really nice lady. Got tons of stuff going on. I want to talk now, though, about our Indiegogo project of the week, My Sucky Teen Romance. Now, the reason why I picked this particular project, even though you'll notice by the graphic, if you can see, they've already reached their goal, but the reason why I picked this project, and the reason why I'm picking a project that's already reached their goal, and actually has gone a little bit above, is because of the person who's doing it. Now, if you guys have ever seen a movie called Pathogen, or a documentary just came out called Zombie Girl the Movie, then you might know Emily Haggins. Emily Haggins wrote and directed her first movie at the age of 12. Yeah, see, look at it there. She wrote and directed it. Now, it's not a great movie, but that's not the point. The point is that she completed a feature film at 12 or 13 years old, I think it was. I think it finally hit theaters. Like, she had a premiere at the Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah, because she knew, help me out here, dude from Ain't It Cool News. Whatever. Anyway, so.
Harry Knowles.
Thank you, Harry Knowles. Because Harry Knowles introduced her to Peter Jackson because she's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I know, right? So, anyways, the long and short of it is that she created this movie. Her parents really got behind her, helped her out with it. It was really, you can view the whole kind of story, the genesis of it in Zombie Girl the movie. She's since made another movie after that, and now this is her last chance to make a movie by the time she gets out of high school. And now her next movie is called My Sucky Teen Romance. I actually have the trailer for it, and I really, really like it. I want to show you guys the trailer right now. I think that if you go and check out some of the stuff that she's done in the past and then check out this trailer, I think you'll agree that she's definitely come a long way, both as a writer and as a director. Let's cut to that trailer right now, though. Wirecast by Telestream is a live production tool that allows everyone to easily broadcast live events and create professional webcasts from any location. All you need is a computer and an internet connection. With features that include live chroma keying, streaming from multiple cameras, and built-in titles, Wirecast has everything out of the box to allow your broadcast to look professional. Try their free Windows or Mac demo now at www.telestream.net. Okay, apparently that's not going to work.
It was nice that you actually cut to commercial. You were like panic mode. I think you just clicked the wrong thing, though.
Yeah.
It worked, though.
It did.
We should try doing that more often.
Possibly. But, so anyways, sorry about that, guys. I apologize. I thought I had that working before the show started, but, oh well. But you guys can go and check out her Indiegogo project, and you can actually view the trailer on that. She actually has run 2 successful Indiegogo projects at this point. She had one, I think, for $8,000, and then one for whatever this one was. I think it was another 5 or 6.
$5,500.
$5,500. So she's actually already, gotten like $1,300 for this.
She's still in high school.
She's just graduating. 17 or 18.
And she's accomplished more in her life
than most of the people in this, not only this room, but that are watching the show.
Everyone on the show right now.
I mean, that, to me, that's textbook prodigy right there.
Well, you would think so, but again, the movie, like Pathogen, her first movie, it's inspiring. The story is inspiring. The movie, not so much. Well, but she accomplished it.
12.
Yeah, but she had a lot of... it's kind of like, when you go to, like, you're young, you're in school, and you have, like, a science fair, and, like, your parents help you with, like, the volcano and shit. She got a little bit of help from her parents and stuff like that. Like, she didn't go the route that... it's not like she was spending her money on the movie. She was spending, like, her parents' money on the movie. But, no, it's still impressive that it got done, and at the age that she felt that that's what she wanted to do. And then she followed through with it at that age, too.
When I was 12, it was like, yeah, I was interested in filmmaking, but I was more interested in Nintendo 64 or Super Nintendo, wherever the hell was out then. It's like, the fact that she got so focused on it to do it, I mean, I'd love to see what she's doing when she's 25, or what she's doing when she's 30, you know?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they did say in the chat room, where's my producer? Better not let that happen in my South by Southwest talk. And I told them, I was nice. I said, what producer? Because technically we don't have one.
That is true.
We have you, who is like the de facto director, but...
we had Jeff that one time who pretended he was producer.
Let's not get into Jeff, because I have a lot of things, even a year later almost, that I want to say about that.
Ouch.
I know. It's just like there's other things I want to talk about tonight too, but I'm going to let it slide because it's the holidays. I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to take the road less traveled. By me.
Our show's better anyways.
Wow. I didn't say that. And David Boldy says, I take it she's going to film school. I have no idea. Actually, yeah, it's funny. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, she was nice. She actually is. She's on Twitter. You can actually follow her on Twitter. It's Emily Haggins. I don't know what her actual screen name is. I think it's like E Haggins or something.
Cheesy Nuggets.
Cheesy Nuggets. That's
what. Get her on the show.
I've invited her actually.
That's a filmmaker that I'm blown away. Honestly.
Brian, you're not going to sleep with her. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Wow.
You have no chance with her.
That's where Jerry went with that.
That's where he was going with that.
I can't believe. No, what I can't believe is that I didn't go. I didn't even think about that.
I'm surprised about that too. Speaking of, by the way, we talked about Harry Knowles a couple seconds ago. You're kind of starting to rock like the Harry Knowles beard.
I'm going.
Why are you going full beard now? Is it the Christmas thing? You're trying to go the whole Santa Claus?
Actually, it's for a project I actually want to talk to you about.
Oh, okay. After the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
But you can actually go to her website. Is actually Emily Haggins is www.cheesynuggets.com. It's her kind of production site. Few little things are broken on it, but overall it at least shows you like the trailers and stuff for her movies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 3 feature films by 17, 18 years old.
We'll say 18 by the time it's released.
Probably, yeah. So I'm really impressed. And again, if once you guys do see the trailer for My Sucky Teen Romance, it actually looks good. Like I would say, I'd put it on par. It looks like a better lit Stuck Like Chuck. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, Jerry.
No, it was better than that.
It had more locations. No, actually, it looked really cool. Like it's funny because I was watching like the first part of the trailer, and I was like, oh no, this is looking like it's going to be campy and crappy. And then like it started picking up, and she actually does. Well, her mom is an effects person, and so she has some visual effects that in Pathogen, and then as she's evolved in her career, the effects in this one actually look really good. Like they look like, I'm not going like Tom Savini good, but like they look pretty decent. So that was
like it's someone who has some experience on like a stage plays in high school and stuff like that. Someone who's actually done it a few times, but they haven't been doing it their whole life, kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, one of the big cool things in that I found really interesting in the documentary, Zombie Girl the movie, was that it's like her mom. It seems like film is something her mom always wanted to get into, like design and all that kind of stuff, because she was a designer. She was an artsy person. And it's like she never got the chance to do that. And it's funny because the dynamic you see between them throughout some of the movie leads you to believe that it is more of a, like, the mom is living vicariously through the child a little bit, like
Mommy Dearest kind of shit almost, but not as creepy.
Not as creepy and not as, like, blatant either. I mean, like, it's not like those pageant, it's not like those pageant mothers, really. Like, no one's forcing her to do anything, but when they're on set and stuff, you could tell, like, there was a little bit of a control battle, and, the mom really seemed to, in one hand, seems like she dug really doing it, and other times it would be like...
She's sitting here thinking my 13-year-old daughter is kicking my ass in my career.
Well, I mean, the big thing she would say is, like, well, I have a day job, and I have this, that, and the other thing, and, like, she'd reference, like, well, I've always wanted to do this, but I've got the day job. So, I mean, it's almost like, you could almost think in your head, like, what if her mom had not had her to worry about as a responsibility? Would she maybe be doing effects for a company or something? You know what I mean?
Parents.
So yeah, probably a burden on her parents. But anyways, yeah, check out the cheesynuggets.com because she's really cool, and she seems like a really nice person, and I'm happy to give her as much.
Now, honestly, just you talking about, I want to see Pathogen, I want to see
Zombie Girl the movie. Riveting documentary. Riveting. And I also want to give a shout out, just because I like them, to our buddies over at, when I say buddies, they don't know I exist, except for the fact that they just reposted our review we did of their movie. But the guys over at the movie Lunopolis, because I love that freaking movie. Miles Maker, Nick is all over those nuggets. I am, sir. I had nuggets last night.
CheesyNuggets.com?
CheesyNuggets.com.
She's even got her own .com domain name already.
She's got a .com.
I just got that, and I'm 25. And my website sucks.
It does suck.
We really got to work on it.
I keep trying to tell you to,
Whatever.
Anyways.
I'm so impressed with her. It's amazing.
I'm honestly blown. Honestly, like, I never even thought about that. I never thought that there's these children. She's a child.
Well, and that's part of the even statement in the movie is someone in the movie even says, like, it's to the point now where technology has evolved to such a point, and children have as well. Like, we grew up, like, kids don't know what anything but a non-linear editor is. Like, everyone her age grew up with Final Cut, so...
Here's the thing, though, because, like what you're saying...
She cut Pathogen on iMovie.
That's, one, insane, also. But two, it's like... I slightly disagree with what you're saying.
Miles Maker says film school's going to ruin her. Go ahead.
Film school ruined me. What you're saying is, like, the technology here, we can have filmmakers being younger and younger. What was the film that eventually became, I believe it's Edgar Wright and Hot Fuzz. He released on the DVD and Blu-ray of Hot Fuzz, a movie he made when he was like 15 or something like that. It's the same general idea, obviously, but where I do agree with you is the technology is there where you can make a movie at 12, 13 years old and not have it look like you shot it on a crappy, big old Sony, camcorder.
Interesting you say that, because remember, no, she wasn't on the big Sony camcorder. Remember the Sony Handycam that we started out with?
Yeah.
Episode 1 of the original show.
I remember very much, because I remember bringing my camera.
Very similar camera. I think it was like 1 or 2 steps up from that, like generation-wise. That's what she shot Pathogen on, and it was basically just a handheld, camera. And it was funny because I didn't even see her a lot looking through the view. She looked through the viewfinder, not the lens, not the lens.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, well, no, but anyway, so it was really just interesting. Her mom improvised a boom pole, and her mom was her boom person, and
I have to see these flicks, dude.
Yeah, you'll check it out. But anyway, so moving on. I think we've plugged her stuff tons,
yeah,
and hopefully
she should definitely come on our show now.
Yeah, she should. We're getting to the end of the year now, and I wanted to just again take a couple of minutes out of the show towards the end of the show to thank everyone for all the support over the course of the year. We've had a lot of great guests. We have we've had a lot of cool little events and stuff that we've been to, that we've sponsored, that we've covered and stuff like that. We really hope to kind of do a lot more next year. My goal for one of my goals for next year is I want to do a lot more direct filmmaker outreach. I want to not only with consulting and stuff like that, but even obviously with the screening series. Something that we can give back a little bit more, provide filmmakers an opportunity to screen their work and and to an audience at an actual theater and high definition. And it's really that's one of the big things I've wanted since like day one of Film Snobbery is I wanted a venue where I could highlight some of these great movies. And yeah, there's that on top of a bunch of other stuff. I don't know 100% what the future of, say, like this particular show is going to be, but I know that it will stick around in one format or another, whether we just film it at the theaters, at the screenings, or whether we, whatever we end up doing. But we've got a lot of great stuff coming up in the new year. Stay tuned definitely for some more interviews that we've already got lined up. The website is what it is. We are still looking for some writers, so if anyone out there wants to write a column, please, just email me, admin@filmsnobbery.com or nick@filmsnobbery.com. At this point, most people that watch the show have my actual email address. So there's that, and that's really all I had to. It's funny, that's all I really had to say. This show is more of just a thank you and kind of wrapping up the year. Jerry, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Not really. You kind of covered everything. But yeah, thank you everyone for all the support with the show, and also I don't want to go too much into it, but my own side projects with like Indiegogo, trying to raise money and stuff. Thank you for all the support that pretty much everyone in the audience has given, either in one way or another. And yeah, thank you for watching, and come back next year to watch some more. No matter look, however we're gonna do it. You kind of threw me off by saying that the format of this show might change. I'm kind of like, uh-oh, I'm out of the job.
Oh, Jerry, you've been out of a job for months. Let's be honest. No, I'm kidding.
I'm out of a job that I was never paid for to begin with.
There you go. No. Look, guys, FilmSnobbery Live as a show, as a event, kind of an event type of thing that we do. Whether it ends up being weekly, monthly, daily, whatever it ends up being, it's not going to go away. But obviously, we want to figure out the best ways that we can do to provide you guys out there, the audience, with the best experience possible. And,
I think people should just pay us, and then we'll call them and have a 1-hour personal show with them. Like, we'll just get on the line and talk to them.
There you
just
go.
Like FilmSnobbery one-on-one.
How are you? How's it going? Good. What are you doing? Nothing.
So what's the topic of today's show? You tell me.
You tell me. What are we doing? But no, we're doing we've got a lot of stuff going on this year already. Stay tuned in a couple of weeks on when we return in January for we do have an announcement we're going to be sharing regarding the Flyway Film Festival. I'm not going to go crazy. But because no one here knows about it, so I'm not going to talk about it now, because none of my guys know about it. But we got some cool stuff talking about there. I've personally got some great things going on starting in the very, very near future that I think will really help FilmSnobbery grow. Some of the biggest things we need to do as a company is grow the company, but also, we want to invest in some new tech. We haven't upgraded our gear in like 2 years. We want to upgrade in. Well, we don't even really use your camera anymore.
Well, I'm saying you got the. Never mind.
Yeah, I got that camera 2 years ago.
No, 2 years ago we were still using Max. Never mind. You know what? We can argue about this all day.
We can, but anyway, we want to upgrade our gear. We want to upgrade. We just bought some lights. Quite frankly, not horrendously impressed with them. They do a great job, but they are breaking left and right. So we got to get some new lights. We've got to get some other stuff. We want to work on getting sponsorship for things that we can then pass on to you guys. I do want to remind everyone that we do have the New Mexico Film Festival coming up in February, so definitely check that out. It's going to be Valentine's Day weekend, actually. I think it's like the 12th and the 13th or something like that. So just go to www.newmexicointernationalfilmfestival.com. You can get all the details there. I actually worked in the capacity of getting all their product sponsorships, and I finally finished that job. So that's a good thing. But they've got a great event lined up, and you guys will definitely have a good time if you check it out. So. But yeah, definitely check out FilmSnobbery Live presents A Day at the Palace if you're in the New York or Connecticut area. If you're in New York, it's not a far drive, it's not a far train ride, it's not a far bus ride. Everything goes right to the theater. Like, literally, if it's not like down the street from the theater, it's across the street from the theater. So definitely check it out. Great stuff. It's going to be January 30th. I have a coupon code for you guys for the online peoples, our peoples. Type in the coupon code FilmSnob130. And you can get $2 off your tickets. Tickets then will be $10 at that point. If you buy them at the door, it's $12. Now, that's not $12 per movie. That's $12 for the entire day, or $10 for the entire day, depending if you use the coupon code. So you get an entire day of entertainment for $10. You really can't go wrong with that. And the filmmakers will be there. A couple of filmmakers will be there. They'll all be selling merchandise. So if you wanted a copy of Ink, you could probably get a copy of Ink at the screening. You wanted a copy of What's Up Lovely or another one of Gary King's fine films, check it out there. Meet Gary King in person, shake his hand, pat him on the head. Maybe if his wife's not looking, pat him on the ass. I don't know. But come on, have fun, enjoy us. We are going to be doing a live FilmSnobbery Live. I know that kind of sounds redundant, but FilmSnobbery Live is the...
That's what I wanted to call it. FilmSnobbery Live.
Yeah.
Is there a semicolon involved?
There should be.
There should be.
But anyways, you guys coming down, we're going to have, it's going to be really fun with the audience. We've got a magic act, courtesy of Darren Kipper, director. He's going to do one of these maybe, I don't know. It's a little saw woman in half thing.
Better than Chris Angel, so there you go.
Is better than Chris Angel.
You know what else is better than Chris
He has
Angel?
less guy liner. What? No, not at all. Anything. Moving on. So I want to thank everyone again for a very productive year. It really has meant a lot to myself. I know it means a lot to the guys here at FilmSnobbery and girls here at FilmSnobbery. I want to thank the writers, of course, most of who are women. And I'm always looking for more talent here to help out and to promote. And so hit us up next year. I guess that note, it's time to say goodbye. So see you guys next year in 2011.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.